What is going on, guys? It's 7up07 here, and I wanted to make a quick intro to this video because this is going to be the start of a new video series for me, and it's one that I'm really excited to do. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of fun to watch because it's going to be a game hunting series. In the past, I would only show just the pickups, and this is still going to include a pickup summary, but I'm going to try at the beginning to do actual footage of me going out to yard sales, Craigslist deals, etc., and actually buying the game from people, going through stuff. You'll see failed attempts at trying to find games and actually succeeding at and finding some really great stuff. So forgive this first video because the quality is not very good. I used my phone my first day out because I had no other way of doing it. It just sort of came to me as an idea. And I accidentally did it vertically instead of horizontally for most of the videos, so I decided to go ahead and keep that footage in this first video. That's what you're about to see. And then of course I'll have a much better quality pickup at the end. But for the sake of knowing what was going on, I decided to leave all that footage in at the beginning. But in the future, they're definitely going to be better quality. Even the second video, I went out and bought some of these. These are a pair of sunglasses that actually have a video camera right there in the front, and they have worked out fantastic so far. They're pretty decent quality for something like that. You might not expect it to be great quality, but they're actually pretty good. So I've already shot plenty of footage with that, and everything is just going to improve from here on out. So just sort of deal with the bad quality for this first video, and it's going to get really cool after that. And I plan on making a lot of these, and I'm really excited to continue with this series. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please tell me what you think, and look out for the improved videos after this. I'm actually going out for the first time in a very long time to do some yard sailing and see what kind of finds I can make, because I'm just recently getting back into trying to buy and sell like used retro games and stuff, and Craigslist is dead now, man. There's no deals on there. You might find a couple things on eBay and like lots, but like everyone's on their shit with how to price games on Craigslist, and it's just become this big competitive thing. So this is already just so weird. I got here to the first sale I was supposed to be going to. This is a guy I actually emailed, asked him if he had any old video games and a couple other things I'm looking for, like records and whatnot. And he said he had video games. There's no one here. The door is locked. It said it was starting at 7 o'clock. And there's just no one here. So I emailed him back and said that I was here. I really doubt I'm going to hear from him, but it's just kind of annoying. I guess we'll see how the rest of this is going to go, but this is not a good start. Alright guys, so far I've gone to about 6 or 7 yard sales, and I am not having a whole lot of luck. About 3 of those didn't have any video games, and the other ones, they either wanted too much or it was nothing I was really interested in. There were people trying to sell games that I know, like Gran Turismo 5 and some other stuff, and like some sports titles that were from like 08, 09. They were trying to sell them for like 10 or 15 a piece. They wanted like 18 bucks or something for Gran Turismo. I think it sells for like 10 at GameStop, so absolutely crazy. There was a kid trying to sell a couple of his DS's, and he wanted, I think one was a original DS Lite and another one was a DSi XL, and he wanted 20 and 30 for those, which isn't like terrible, but it's not the prices I'm trying to pay at a yard sale like this. So I could have haggled him, but you know, he's like a kid, and I didn't really want to get into it, and I didn't want him that bad, so it's no big deal. So far I have not found a whole lot. I'll show you guys what I did find, and which is almost nothing right now. And I'm about to go head to a community sale, which actually has not quite started yet. I'm sure a few people have had their stuff out there already, but the overall community sale, the time is not till 10 o'clock, and it's not quite 10 yet. So hopefully I'll have some really good luck over there. There's supposed to be like 10 to 12 families selling stuff out there, so we'll see if I get any more good luck, if my luck can continue, because it had been shit for about 10 or 12 sales this morning so far. Alright, so I just left the community sale I was talking about, and Not a whole lot of success as far as video games go as of right now there. It turned out to be super small. There was only a couple people out there, not at all what was advertised for it. But they all told me that more people are going to be out there tomorrow on Sunday, which I just find really bizarre for a community yard sale that people would be out there. And then there was another one of the couple people that were out there hadn't even, at 10:30 almost, hadn't even started setting up yet. So I just got finished at one of the yard sales that I had been. It was the one that was starting at 10, and I was really excited about it because they had emailed me back and confirmed that they were going to have video games there. But from the posting, it didn't seem like someone that sells regularly. It seemed like just like a one-off kind of, you know, getting rid of some stuff sale. So it was a little bit misleading. And when I got there, she had piles and piles of like random cords and controllers and stuff. And immediately I knew I was gonna have issues. And sure enough, she is a reseller. So I was pretty disappointed with that. And she, you know, didn't even have reasonable prices. They were ridiculous, like $20 for an original Game Boy, and you know, that was kind of beat up and stuff. And you know, like she was asking like $5 a piece for like original Xbox sports games and stuff, just absolutely crazy. So that was pretty disappointing. I was really looking forward to that one, but now I know, and I will not be returning to that. But I have a couple more to hit, so hopefully I'll have just a little bit more luck today. This is why you can't even shop at Goodwill anymore. 2003. $10 for a PSP. Are you kidding me? They're auctioning Donkey Kong Country. It's an auction. They are actually trying to auction off a complete Donkey Kong Country. It's a Goodwill. Why the fuck do they even have auctions? I don't understand if this is just this area, or because this is not how, when I lived in North Carolina, that is not how Goodwills worked. I don't know if that's just like a change recently, but that is absolutely insane. Alright guys, so the weekend is over, pretty much. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm back at home. I did go out a little bit more this morning. I went back to that community sale that I went to yesterday that I talked about in the videos earlier, and it was not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. But overall, I gotta say, I had a pretty decent weekend, especially for it being my first weekend back to doing something like this. It's been years since I've even, you know, planned out a whole area to go to and try to hit as many as I can. It's been a long time since I did something like that, so I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. What I was really unhappy about is the just lack of actual games that I got. But I did get some cool finds and hopefully some cool connections like the ones I was talking about earlier in the videos in the car. So I'm going to jump into all of the things that I got this weekend. Most of it was yesterday, which is, I mean, what I expected. I didn't even really expect to go back out today, but I did find something today as well. So I'm just going to jump into it. First of all, yesterday morning was really slow. I was getting really worried. You know, like I said, everyone that even had games, it was either really expensive or it just wasn't really something I was interested in, or at least the price wasn't going to be right for it. So the entire morning up until, I think I had gone to like 10 sales or something like that, up until my first good find, which was around right before 10 o'clock. So I had been going from 7 to 10 almost. It's almost 3 hours of just nothing. It was getting very frustrating. And the entire morning, literally all I found, it was the kid that had the 2DS as I was talking about. All I found was this little thing from him. This is the little peripheral that goes on the DS for Guitar Hero on Tour. It was in this little box of toys he had. I just happened to spot it out of the corner of my eye for 25 cents. So I just went ahead and picked it up. I mean, I figured I'll probably never use it, honestly. I don't even have that game, but it was something to buy at that point, honestly. Like, I was just getting so frustrated. But, so I went back. The first video that I had yesterday morning was when I went to that warehouse and there was no one there. I didn't know where they were or what was going on, so he had finally emailed me back later in the day, right about 9 o'clock. So I went to a couple more sales, and then it just so happened one of the sales I was going to, or a couple of them, were right in that same area again. So I actually went back through there about 9:45 in the morning, and sure enough, he was the one that had emailed me and said he had stuff. So I get there, and he had some stuff there. It wasn't anything super exciting at the start, but the price ended up being right, and it turned out to be pretty good. So I got a few things from him, and I would say this was, well, I thought it might be the find of the day. I'm not going to say that with certainty anymore, because I did get a slight disappointment in it. So basically, he had 3 things sitting out there. I only really wanted one of them, but I ended up asking about a group price for 2, which he ended up throwing in a third thing for free, which was this slim PS2. It's not in terrible condition as far as, you know, being like all nicked up and stuff, but there is some problems with the buttons sticking. Like, I can't get this to stay down all the time. It's something, well, it's staying right now, but sometimes this open and close button is getting a little stuck, and I realized that this is the older model that's not the same as mine. It has that different, I don't know if you can see it, it has that different circular power cable in the back, so I actually don't have one of those here with me. The one I have is the newest slim model that had come out in like 2008 or 9 or something, and it has a different power cable, so I can't even try it out to make sure it works right now. But the power button feels like it's like stuck or something, so I'm really not sure what's going on with that. And also the front first memory card slot is missing the door on it, which isn't a super big deal. And like I said, this was thrown in for free, so I wasn't even gonna worry about getting it until he was just like, you know what, man, I don't need to have this anymore. If you're getting the other stuff, why not? So the other thing that came with it is just a fat PS2, which I wanted to get if it was really cheap. I'd been wanting to get one of these again just because I don't have one, just for the sake of having, you know, each model of a console. And it did come with one of the first party PS2 memory cards, so for the price I got it for, it's excellent. I did try this one and it does work perfectly fine, so I was happy that there's no issues with it. And it had it did have like a God of War DVD or something in it. I think I already have that on the 2-disc special edition though, so unfortunately it did not come with any games, but I'll get to that in a second. So the best part of the find there was this here, and I thought it was going to be a little bit better than it turned out to be, but it's still a really good find, and I got a really great deal on it. And that was right on the top of the pile. I saw this sitting there, a PSP, one of the 1001 models, in the box, and it doesn't have the instructions with it, unfortunately, but the box is in pretty nice shape, so it doesn't have like a bunch of tears and stains and stuff all over it, which is always good. And then of course the PSP itself, it does have the kind of nice clear plastic case that came with it. Let me see if I can get it off. This thing, which is not broken or stuff. I know these things crack pretty often, and this is not broken at all, which is nice, but apparently it didn't do a whole lot of good because unfortunately the screen, the only thing that I knew about it at the time, which I kind of used as a bargaining chip to get him to go down on the price, was the joystick over here is missing the pad on it, which I looked it up and you can buy one for about $1.25 on there. You just have to take the PSP apart, which is pretty easy to do. It's not super hard to get apart, so I figured I could just do that right off the bat. But then when I actually went to play it, so you can hear it turn on. I'm gonna see if I can get it up there. No, it's gonna, well, you can kind of see out of the corner it's cracked. So there's no display whatsoever on this thing right now, which is pretty disappointing. But for the entire lot, I only paid $10. He originally said $10 just for the PSP because he knew that's what I was interested in. And then I said, okay, if I give you 10, will you throw in the fat PS2? He said yes. And then he said, go ahead and take all three. So even if I can't get anything out of the slim PS2, I know that to fix this PSP back up into perfect working order would only cost about $15. And these still go for about $100 complete in box on eBay. So overall, it would still be I mean, even a broken PS2 with a cracked screen that doesn't work at all still goes for the price, at least, that I paid for this whole lot. So by no means a bad purchase, if only just for the slim PS2 in the box. But I am going to try to repair this PSP, so I was pretty excited about this one, and I'll have to go ahead and repair that really soon. Other than that, the slim PS2 came with no cords or anything. The fat one did come with the power cable and an AV cable, which works, but it is the thing is completely off of it. The cover for where it plugs into the PS2, it's just loose wire that you can see, but it does still work. So I don't know if I'm even going to end up using that. I do have plenty of spare PS2 cables and stuff, so it really wasn't a big deal. But I appreciated that it came with the memory card, but there was no controllers, and the only games he had were loose, and they're scratched to shit, so I doubt they're going to work. There's Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 and Enter the Matrix, which I really want this game. But yeah, like I said, I can try to clean these up. They're like stains, so I don't know that if I clean them up, they might actually work. But of course, there's no cases or anything, so I don't know what I'm going to do with them. But he had a bunch of games sitting out there or I saw a bunch of game cases out there, and he was going to throw them in, but then I started looking through, and I realized none of them had any actual games in them, which he hadn't looked through them, he didn't know, so... and including a couple PSP games, so I was pretty disappointed about that too. But like I said, $10 for all those, pretty good deal. So I moved on. I went to like the community sale and stuff and didn't find a whole lot. I just made those few connections that I had already told you guys about. Found a couple people to give my number to, so I still am waiting to hear back from. I did talk to the guy that said he might have the Pong console and stuff, and he still has not been able to find it yet, but I saw the pile of stuff he has to go through, and I probably wouldn't have been able to find it yet either, so I'm still going to wait to hear back from him today, or, you know, sometime coming up. And then the guy that was with him with the Atari, it turns out he kept saying it was like a really old Atari model. It turns out it was one of those like flashback to plug and play kind of things, but he still said that he had cartridges, like the old Atari cartridges, which I thought was weird because those things don't go together. So I went over there today. He had told me to come by. I was going to be going to the sale again anyway just to see what other people had, and they weren't out there. They said they were going to be out there selling again. No one was there, and then he finally texted me back later and was like, oh yeah, we went to church today instead. So I'll just have to check those out another time. I don't, if I ever even get to check it out, I don't know. The guy doesn't seem to know what he's talking about anyway, so that could work out in my favor, or it could just turn out to be nothing, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, later on yesterday, I did get one more good find. It was the second to last yard sale that I went to, actually, and it was already like 11:15 or something. I did not expect to find anything at this point. I get out there, I see a few PS2 controllers in this little thing, and they were like covered in like oil, and they were in there with like a bunch of wrenches and stuff, and like in this random box. And so I like put those to the side kind of, but I didn't really think I was going to get them. I just figured I might ask if he'd sell them for a couple bucks, because the controllers themselves were in good shape. They were just covered in like gross stuff. So I figured I could just clean those off. And then I heard someone else ask him about them, and he said like $10 for all of them. There were like 4, which isn't terrible, but I was just going to give him like a couple dollars. So I immediately was like, I'm not going to mess with that. Thought about making an offer on it anyway, but I just went ahead and asked him if he had any other video game stuff. He was like, oh, well, I have some PS2 stuff at my other house, and wait, let me look through this box. So he gets through this box, and he pulls out a Wii. And I didn't see anything else with it, so he kind of put it to the side and kept looking, and I let him sort of finish. And then I asked him if it had any of the cords and stuff, so he goes on this like mad hunt, and he found the AV cables, he found the sensor bar, which was a big part of it for me, and then he found half of the power cable. It's the one with the block, as you can see, that goes from the Wii, but it doesn't have the part that goes from here to the wall, which I figure I can get online for just a couple dollars, so that's no big deal. It did not have any Wiimotes with it, but it did come with one of these guys, the little retro pads for the Virtual Console games, which was kind of cool. I did not have one of these for my Wii yet, so I'm going to hold on to this one, but I am going to sell this Wii. I'll just have to buy that cable. I might end up selling it to a friend of mine if he decides he wants it, so, but I ended up getting that for only $10. He had told me like 15, I think. I offered him, what did I say? I can't remember what I said first. I think I was going to give him 10 for it, and then he couldn't find the other part of that cable, so he just ended up throwing in a couple of DVDs that I wanted anyway, and I got it for $10 for all of that, so pretty good deal on that as well. And that's actually all that I found yesterday during the sales. I did have, outside of video games, I had a pretty good day as well. I found a bunch of records and some other cool stuff that I had been wanting, some furniture and whatnot. So I actually had a really successful day overall. It just turned out to be a little bit disappointing for the video games themselves, but I did get the cool consoles and stuff, so that's cool. But I went back out this morning. I went to that community sale. I got there a little early because I figured people would go out there early, and I went back to a place that I had actually been yesterday that said they might bring some games tomorrow, being today, for me to look at. So I went back over there. I had actually bought something from them yesterday as well, and the guy, he only had a couple of PS4 games out there that he was trying to sell, and one of them didn't even have the case or anything. So the only thing I ended up picking up from them was Watch Dogs for PS4. I had been wanting to try this game. I mean, there's like mixed reviews about it, but he sold it to me for $7, which it's like $30 still new, or like $27 with your card or whatever used at GameStop. So it was a pretty decent deal for a PS4 game, and I figured why not, because I still had quite a bit of money put aside for sales. So not a bad deal on that one. And then while I was waiting on maybe a couple more people to set up their stuff for the community sale out there, I noticed there was one right nearby that I saw on Craigslist that started right around that time, which was 10 o'clock at the time, so I had been waiting around for people to start. So I headed over there, and it didn't seem too promising at first, but he did have a bunch of stereo equipment, including a couple turntables and stuff, which I almost bought, but they needed new cartridges, so I really didn't feel like bothering with that. But I bought like a CD changer, which I had been needing for my stereo setup. I bought that from him for $10, and he ended up throwing in this because I had asked about video games. He pulled this. He said he didn't really have anything, but he pulled this out and said I could have it in the deal for free, which this is like it's a third party. It's made by Logitech. Steering wheel for, it looks like PS3. I just got today, so I haven't really tried anything out with it yet. But it has like the little, Gran Turismo symbol on the front there, so it looks like it was made for Gran Turismo, but it's released by Logitech, so I don't know, but it actually looks like a pretty high quality steering wheel. It's very heavy, very sturdy. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool that he just threw that in. I'm sure I'll end up using it at some point since it's a PS3. Actually, when I first glanced at it, I thought it was a PC thing, but turns out it has all the PlayStation buttons on the front and stuff, so I thought that was kind of cool. But that's pretty much it. I didn't find anything else today. I only went out there for a little while, so it was no big deal. Definitely a couple of narrow misses, but overall, some really cool finds. The only other thing I was going to show real quick is this is just something we found at my wife's old house this weekend, which is a Pokemon Stadium game guide, and then like an old Nintendo Power with F-Zero on it, so that's kind of cool too. But those don't really count as the yard sale finds. I just figured I'd throw those in there. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be a new series now, I hope. Probably not often, because I'm not going to go out every weekend like some people do and do this kind of thing. But I will do it occasionally. It'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm going to be... Any of the stuff that I'm not going to keep in my collection personally, I'm going to be either selling or trading for other stuff, either through Craigslist. If any of you guys want any of the stuff, then I'm more than willing to do that. Just get up with me about it. But yeah, that's it for my finds this weekend. Pretty decent weekend for the first one. I just wish I could have found some more games, but there's always another weekend, so we'll see what happens then. I'll see you guys later.